So this is teaching for women. So you've been put under the strong delusion. The Son came in the Father's name. The prophets told us that they would change his name. The Messiah told you they would change his name in John 5:42 and 43. Then in the latter days, the pastors will be lying to this people and prophesying in the name Baal, Jesus. What name is the pastors pushing to the four corners of the world? We are in the latter days. Jeremiah 23, talking about the second Exodus, so much greater. They won't even be mentioning the first Exodus. And the pastors are lying, scattering his sheep, prophesying in the name Baal, Jesus, who says that Jesus came to them in a dream. They dream and dream and tell everyone in their neighbor so that they forget the Father's name Jehovah by their dreams for the name Baal. Because the servants of God, the redeemed of the Lord in Revelations 14, has the Father's name written on their foreheads, Jehovah. But the disobedient children who worship the image of the beast have his name and the mark of his name on their foreheads, Jesus Christ, who Christians say is now God, who opposite himself of Jehovah, who is worshipped over the Father, 2 Thessalonians 2, because the churches fall away, and then the son of perdition will be revealed, Jesus, Jesus Horish Krishna, Jesus H. Christ. Count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. 636, Chi, Zay, Stigma, Christ, Pearson. Cross your cross that's on every single church building, because they worship the image made onto the beast. And they have his name on their foreheads. 666, Jesus. The Antichrist, the many messiahs that would come after the Messiah and proclaim that they are the Messiah. There's 46,000 different denominations of the Christian church, stemming off of the Roman Catholic Church, the great whore in Revelations, and her many harlots who've pushed her fornication to the four corners of the world, her pagan idolatry, Jeremiah 10 Christmas, so you needs be born because you cannot go to the kingdom of God, what Yeshua told Nicodemus in John 3 when he was quoting Jeremiah 10. And Easter, Jeremiah 7, Jeremiah 44, Queen of Heaven, Ishtar, Easter. Christians say they're delivered to do those abominations because once was, is, and is to come. There's nothing new under the sun. They still stand in Jehovah's house called by his name and say they're delivered to do those abominations because they've turned the grace of God into lasciviousness, Jude 1. They hold the truth in unrighteousness, Romans 1. They've made the uncorruptible God into an image of a corruptible man and creepy things. They're Jesus Horish Krishna. They're jack-o'-lanterns. They're Easter bunnies. Nimrod's penis, the Christmas tree. Observing the winter solstice every December 25th, a pagan holiday. They worship the sun towards the east in Ezekiel 8. On Sunday, the day of they worship the sun god, Tammuz. Because the pastors scattered his flock, there will be no priest unto him. Jehovah will rise up watchmen in the latter days. Romans 10, because his people have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. They're ignorant of Jehovah's righteousness, the Ten Commandments, Psalms 119, verse 172, and Deuteronomy chapter 6. To love God with all your heart, soul, and mind is to keep the Ten Commandments, and if you do them, it will be your righteousness. And they've gone to establish their own righteousness. Traditions and commandments of men, saying that they don't have to obey, that they just have to believe in Jesus Horsh Krishna. For the devils believed and trembled, but they did not obey, and faith without works is dead. They've put off the weightier matters of the law, mercy, and judgment. Jehovah keeps covenants and mercy with thousands of them who love him and keep his commandments. Daniel 9:4, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9 and 10. The Messiah gave us the holy covenants at Horeb in Deuteronomy 18:15 through 19, and Deuteronomy 5, what the prophets told us he would give us. But your Antichrist, Jesus, destroyed the prophets, because whatever prophet said in Jehovah's name, if it didn't come to pass, we should not fear him. He would be a false prophet. And your prophets nailed the covenants that the Messiah was prophesied to give us to the cross, along with the sacrificial law. Your prophet is lawless, who came in his own name. Yeshua says in John 5:42, I know you don't have the love of God in you. 1 John 5, verse 4, for this is the love of God, to keep his commandments. He knows that you don't keep the commandments of God. You don't have the love of God in you. He says, I came in my Father's name, Yeshua, Yah, salvation. You didn't receive him, but there is going to be one that comes in his own name that you would receive, Jesus Horsh Krishna, Jesus H. Christ, that Rome created after 3 Greek gods. Child of Apollyon. It's not just a translated name, because his translated name from Greek to English is Joshua in Zechariah 3 and Revelations 5. Joshua, high priest, had the same name as Joshua, son of Nun, in the Old Testament. They didn't have to transliterate Joshua, son of Nun. No, just the Messiah's name conveniently, because it's prophesied that another would come in his own name that you would receive, an Antichrist who would sit in your temple. In 2 Thessalonians 2, that you're going to worship over the Father. So, because his people reject his covenants, in Hosea chapter 6, verse 6 and 7, he's going to reject them and their children. So no, that's not his name. Romans 10, how will they believe on him who they have not heard? Because the pastors are liars, wolves in sheep's clothing, who prophesy in the name Baal, letting his people forget Jehovah's name for the name Baal. How will they hear on him that they have not heard? And how will they hear without a preacher? Because all the pastors are liars. How beautiful are the feet of them who preach the good tidings of good things, his watchmen that he rises up to warn the people. In Ezekiel 2, 3 and 33. And it quotes Isaiah 52. His people will know his name, and his watchmen will be publishing salvation. In the Strong's, that's Yeshua, the Son. And there's no other name under heaven that you'll be saved by. Joel 2 tells you what name you'll be saved by, and it's Jehovah, capital Lord.